Ladies and gentlemen, SuckItUpUSA.com presents Suck It Up MMA Live. No excuses, no quit. With your hosts, positioned firmly in front of the control board, and out of the red corner, Tom McManus! Across the desk, and out of the blue corner, Larry the Professor Sheely!
Today, Ken Primola is our guest. He is with ILoveBJJ.com, and oh man, what a great website he possesses.
Yeah, he's great, man. I've been following him for a while. He number one, lives it, loves the sport, and he's taken the I Love BJJ to just fun levels. I mean, he's serious. He shows good techniques sometimes, and then he'll do parodies on some funny things that happen in gyms. I just really like the follow. He's created like a cult following on the Facebook page itself. And just is dedicated to the sport. Now, I understand he's a lawyer by trade.
Oh, nice.
And runs his own school. And just takes BJJ and his study with some of the great people across the world, the country and the world, and had been a pretty darn good competitor, but really just has embraced the sport, lives it, talks it, and you see the love for it every day. And I'm almost addicted to go into that site and just seeing what he's doing.
He's out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, studied at Penn State Dickinson School of Law, like you said.
Yes,
so
sir.
A well-rounded individual,
yeah,
I guess you could say.
So I would guess if he has contracts at his school, he probably can enforce them, unlike a lot of us.
It's, and like you and like, Cole here who's at the studio, I mean, you guys – You have such a passion for it and for teaching it, because it really is, man, it just makes people better. It does. No matter, I mean, obviously BJJ is a love right now and should be here on MMA Live. But
right,
I mean, it's great when you can get to a facility where they really give a crap about you and they're going to push you. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's going to make you better, make you feel better. And we all know that, whether it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, martial arts, anything like that, it really does. It balances you. It gives you such good balance in your life, physical fitness-wise, confidence-wise, which makes your brain better, which makes you emotionally tougher, and you get after things.
Right.
It was always, it's amazing how far you can really push yourself as long as your mind allows you to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's so true. If you tell yourself you're tired, you're going to be tired. Mm-hmm. If you tell yourself, I should just quit, you're going to quit.
Yeah, and you see it all the time.
These types of things are great. I'm looking at one of the I'm on his Facebook right now, a guy pushing some weights.
I think that's him. I believe that's him.
Oh, that's him pushing it?
I believe so. I think I know which one.
Well, that cross-training, man, that'll really get you. Throw in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on top of it, and which is good. Do you believe that do you get better when you learn when you're tired? That makes you more dangerous when you're not tired?
Well, I tell you what, the whole theory behind jiu-jitsu is it is leverage and technique. And what we like to do is we train tired, because then you only have the technique. If you've blown it out in a good warm-up, in which we do that. Some gyms just go straight to technique. We do a tough warm-up typically, and then we do the technique, and then we apply it tired. So if you can apply the techniques tired, be like you in the football in the fourth quarter. If you're tired and can do it, then you are going to be successful with it.
Right.
That's kind of our philosophy. That's what my instructors do. My main instructor, Cole, who's been with me forever.
Right.
He's on board with that, and we have been together for a long time. It just makes sense. If you're working technique, and again, you played football your whole life.
Right.
Technique, all things equal, better technique and who's in the best shape.
Yeah.
I think in most sports or pretty much anything athletic related, that is the recipe for a good
technique,
result.
Leverage,
Right.
conditioning, all of that.
Right. So you think if you got great technique and you're not in shape, doesn't do you any good.
No, absolutely
But
not.
if you're in shape, have no technique, doesn't do you any good. So I'm a firm believer in training tired. And And then when you're not tired, you've got technique regardless.
Well, it's like fourth quarter, right?
That's what I would think.
I mean, it's fourth quarter of the entire, match.
Right.
Round per round, and
Yep.
you better have it. Because those guys that are conditioned, they'll just wait you out.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
they'll just wear you out a little bit, wait, till you get so damn tired that you forget everything.
You know, it's funny in our gym, too. There are nights we won't put a clock. We time the class with clock, but the way I was taught early days with Hoyce, when he was an affiliate with him, we would train, we wouldn't put a clock on. And his theory was, if you don't know how long the fight is going to be, why would you put a clock on? So, there are times we'll let them spar for 30 minutes straight, 40 minutes straight. It just depends. Because if I've got people in there who go balls to the wall the first 3 minutes, and then the fight, we've got the clock set for 20 or 30, they're going to be in deep doodle by the time, that's going to be a long 17 minutes.
Yeah.
After, if they're already dead after 3. So it's a mind game. It's, knowing what to do. And if you know what you're doing and the other guy doesn't, he's going to exhaust himself. And you just kind of wait it out. And
seen this thing on Google with Ken Primola from 2002 where he put a challenge out there. I think it was on Facebook. Anybody who thinks they can come in and get rubber guard on me, my address is 27 A Trolley Square, Wilmington, Delaware, and the zip code. If you can't, then you could pay me $150 for a private lesson. We can tape it. Wow. Now, what's a rubber guard? I don't know if I...
That's a guard where you're real flexible. You bring your leg around in front of the guy's face, puts your mission control.
Okay.
And
is that where you got the arm, shoulder, and head in the triangle?
Well, not the triangle, no. It's just it's a way to set
with your legs.
Yeah, you use the leg
that one
to
where
trap the arm.
You have to go way up and then cross
that's
like that?
The triangle you're talking about.
Okay, that's the triangle.
The rubber guard is, you're using your legs to pretty much lock down an arm, and then that's what Eddie Bravo is the one who made that pretty much his go-to style, and a lot of flexible guys like to use it. Again, you'll see it in the UFC sometimes. Some people go for that just to lock down one of the arms and go. You got a lot of setups from there.
So he was throwing out a challenge saying, and nobody can do it to me.
I guess so.
That's great.
That'll be good to talk to him about that.
What a great bit of marketing right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, how good are you? I'm so good that I'm challenging anyone to a rubber guard match.
That's
or
funny.
Anybody that can get me in a rubber guard. Wow. That's kind of ballsy.
I would think so, yeah.
Here we go. I think we have Mr. Primola on the horn. Looking forward to that.
That ring sounds like him.
Exactly.
Right on time.
Get this around. Get him cranking up here in just a minute. Ken Primola, are you there?
Yeah, how's it going?
Doing good, buddy. Thanks for taking time out to be with us here on MMA Live on the Suck It Up Radio Network.
It's a pleasure. How you guys doing, all right?
We're doing great. Tom McManus along with the professor, Larry Shealy.
Cool.
Good talking to you, Ken. Yeah, I've been a fan of yours for a while now. I'm finally getting to talk to you on the phone and get to learn a little bit more about you. Tom was, I don't know if you heard the intro, but Tom was did a little Google search and found a challenge you did a while back relative to the rubber guard?
Oh, yeah. Well,
that's awesome.
I think, looking back on that, we all have our days, we all have our moments. At the end of the day, all jiu-jitsu is good, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, there's definitely, people play X-guard, people play rubber guard, people play all kinds of different things, and I think, more conclusively, I'd say anybody that plays anything and plays it well, I think is fine.
Absolutely.
That's how I look at it at the end of the day,
Yeah. Ken, did anybody show up for that? I know that was a couple years ago, but did that anybody show up on this one? I'm looking at, it looks like 2010 on Facebook. You said if no one can do it, they pay $150 for a private lesson. I love that marketing, man. It's awesome.
Hey, well, you know what? I actually had to apologize, for some of those statements. But the thing is, it's interesting because in terms of marketing, you know what? It shows that I'm relevant, and that's important to me.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I put my name out there. I don't really check too much, to be honest with you, like what people say about me on Google and stuff like that. But I think it did its job, and I think the relevance is out there, and people are talking about grappling regardless. In my opinion, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Absolutely.
Totally agree with that, Ken. As a school owner myself, I think that's awesome. And I think, too, just from getting to know you just based on your Facebook, I think a lot of that had to be tongue-in-cheek, too. I mean, you love the sport. You've promoted the sport. You've got literally a cult following now. And I think that's a fun way to just, get in and, people do, if they want to improve, they need to take private lessons. So I didn't see anything. I just thought it was fun, personally. So.
Oh, no, man. It's, people, whatever's out there, people want to talk about, and I appreciate that. And I think
absolutely.
I think it's a good topic, and I look at 10th Planet, for instance, and whether people have opinions about them that are good or bad, the bottom line is they're getting grappling out in the public light more. Yep. Just as the Gracies are. And I think overall, at the end of the day, I've come to the conclusion that no matter how we get it out there, as long as it gets out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, there's always going to be infighting, what guard's the best, who's the best, what style's the best. But at the end of the day, I'd rather have that than not have anything at all.
Yeah, no question about that. Ken Primola is our guest here on MMA Live from ilovebjj.com. Ken, as far as credibility is concerned, I mean, that's got to be extremely important with more and more BJJ schools opening up, more people trying it. Look, a lot of people that aren't involved in the art or the sport, they're going to believe what they see, believe what they hear, and credibility's got to be everything, because at the end of the day, you're trying to teach people an art and get them to feel good and confident about themselves. And man, if you don't A, know what you're doing, and B, don't have the credibility, it can really blow up in your face. So your credibility's got to be almost everything.
Yeah, I think people. At the end of the day. For instance, somebody comes into my school, and I'm a blue belt. If I can teach them, if they can learn something, if they can take any value away from anything that I have to put out there, I think that says it all. There's black belts out there that are really good, that are really credible, and it's whether they can get their point across, whether they can get their influence across. I think that's really important in terms of credibility. Reputation, I think, is a different thing, but I think, in terms of, how credible you are as an athlete, as a coach, as a practitioner, I think that should carry over in your influence to the people that you have in front of you.
Yeah, no question about it, Ken. And you've influenced a lot of people in your own way. I remember when I first started years ago, the Gracies and all the big names were hitting it from the top down, and I thought, well, if I'm going to make a difference in this community, mine was from the kids. I mean, I developed a huge kids program and was able to get it out. But I think there's influences from every angle that can grow this sport. I think you're a great example of that. And a lot of other guys doing this. Like you said before, if we're growing the sport, we're doing what it needs to take the sport to higher levels, affect more people. And a lot of people we affect too, and I'm sure that you have this at your school, not everyone's going to be a competitor. Not everyone's going to be a fighter. But there are a lot of guys and ladies out there who want just a better life, and they find it through jiu-jitsu. Have you found that to be true, Ken?
Absolutely, and I definitely agree. Like, you don't have to be a competitor. If you do it at all, or even if you can't do it, it's a mindset. And my whole big push with the I Love BJJ page and getting jiu-jitsu across to everybody is not. My goal isn't to say, hey, let's talk about half guard, everybody, because that's just hitting the people within the community. My goal is to talk about everyday life, everyday things that jiu-jitsu people also happen to experience, because jiu-jitsu people are just normal people. And I think, I put a lot of topics that have nothing to do with jiu-jitsu, because we're people too, and I want everyone else to be able to see that, hey, we're just like you. We just happen to do this sport that's really cool. It's really combative, and it lets us, get our stress or aggression out, and it helps us to open ourselves up in just another way, a physical way. And that's how I see the growth of this sport, not just within the sport, but how we affect kids, how we affect people, and how it affects their lives beyond the mat. Because just on the mats, not everybody's gonna do jiu-jitsu, and I understand that. But if they can take something from our community and from us, I think that's equally as important.
Yeah, and one thing I love about Brazilian jiu-jitsu too, it really is for everyone, for the younger, for the little bit older, for the man, for the female, for the young kid. It's great for kids, as we all know. It's great for, it doesn't matter if you're 125 pounds, 155 pounds, $185 or 255. There is something for everybody and something to learn when it comes to BJJ.
Absolutely. There's always something to learn, and like I said, more so even off the mats and taking it with you is really important. And, there's so much, jiu-jitsu has so much. It's unlike a lot of martial arts where you could go 100% all the time and really, really test it out. And that's so rare nowadays, and I think it's so important. And just talk about discipline, dedication, to earn your way up through the ranks, to go through the belt process. It says so much about you as a person and your dedication, your will, and your drive.
Yeah, I spoke at Larry's. He had 3 men that graduated to black belt, and at their presentation, I spoke, to the entire school, and he was telling me prior to it took these guys a decade each to get their black belt, and we all know, we see these karate schools, which, look, karate's great. I took taekwondo for football. That's great. Martial arts in general are great, but a lot of these schools, you're paying for belts. And one of the first things I said to Larry when he introduced me to a school, I'm like, I love, you guys make them earn it. You make them earn the belts, and he sometimes they don't pass if they don't do it the right way or don't get the job done the right way. I love how guys like you are wired, and gals that we've had on this show. No excuses. There's no quit, just like our tagline was suck it up and how to be in life. So, I commend you guys for what you do. I commend you, Ken, for what you're doing. I'm on your site right now at ilovebjj.com. The videos look awesome. Looks like you keep adding them every so often, and with more to come. And how hard is it to teach something on a video like that? So the people can look at that, understand that, and maybe practice that in their own gym or in their own home.
Well, it's very challenging. I'm working on a couple technique books and just informational books in terms of understanding jiu-jitsu from an outside perspective. And my goal, and I try to do it better every day, is to basically have anybody who doesn't do jiu-jitsu understand what I'm doing. And that's very, very difficult, and I spend a lot of time working on it, reworking on it. But, the bottom line is this. I used to practice law. I used to do a lot of other things, and I have totally focused 110% on what I'm doing, and that is my mission, is to, get other people to understand jiu-jitsu, get other people to look at it, and get the people within the community to look at it and, like it and enjoy it and hopefully help them. So it's very gratifying to me personally, so I've totally committed to it. It's kind of hard to do like halfway,
right?
So it's hard. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you noticing it. And it's it gets harder every day. I have to go back sometimes and say, man, today I thought it. Yesterday I thought it was like this, but today I think differently. So jiu-jitsu, just like life, is always changing and evolving. I finished a book about beginning jiu-jitsu, and you know what? I can't put it out because I have to go back and revise it because I have new thoughts, today. So it's really challenging if you take it very seriously. If you don't, it's easy. I just throw up a couple techniques and say this and that.
Right.
But I try to make it as challenging as possible for myself, so that I will, do the best for the people out there.
When do you find people stopping to, is it when they get to their blue belt, blue belt to black, it's so hard and difficult to get there? Is it just walking in the door? What do you think, and how do you combat that, Ken?
I'm coming to find, today more than ever, it's people that come into the door and they have, I need to understand their expectations. I need to understand their view of the sport. 10 years ago I could say, oh, you see Royce Gracie from the UFC, and everybody recognizes it. Today, some people don't know what the sport is about at all. MMA kind of maybe has it cluttered a little bit, where they may not recognize the jiu-jitsu aspect as much as they used to many years ago. So, I have to try to appeal to everybody and make them feel comfortable. Me, I used to be a wrestler, so I came in hungry, and I liked getting beat, and it was cool to be tough. But nowadays, you have to be a little bit more sensitive and make sure that their introduction is proper. But also, obviously, some people don't make it past white belt, blue belt, and that's really up to them. I can obviously help them and coddle them and help them get on their way there, but I'm not really the best at holding people's hands. I like to see them do it themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Obviously there's more attention on the sport. More people are getting into the sport. And, I think it's really gonna grow more so in the United States now more than ever because of MMA. And, I think hopefully, more people will stick with it, because there's so many reasons to. I see a lot of females getting into it. I see a lot of, males that typically wouldn't get into it for the fitness aspects. And I think that's really, really good, and it's kind of starting a fire,
It really is.
So.
It really is. Hey, Ken, I'm going to shift gears a little bit with you. You've got a new, so it's not new, and I guess it's new in the past few months, the STFU and Train. Huh?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I love it.
Well, it's actually a popular phrase within the bodybuilding community for many years, and I just, one day I was on the page, and it's just like, I kept going back and forth, trying to appeal to everybody on the page, and I just said, you know what, screw it. This is the way it is. This is the way I've been most of my life, and this is the reality, and it's not like I'm sitting around every day cursing at people and yelling at students, but the bottom line is, it's what we do. That's the bottom line. It's what we do. I don't care what you say. You either do it or you don't do it. If I'm going to make this page successful, I got to spend time. If I'm going to be a champion in jiu-jitsu, I got to put the time in. It's not meant to be, aggressive. It's the reality. And I just happen to have the balls to actually say it. And I can't apologize for that. And maybe people think that's obnoxious or that's out there or that's cool or that's good. Whatever people think, I don't even really care. It is the truth. And you know it too. I mean, you've played, professional sports, and it's not. You don't just get there by happening to get there. You got to earn it.
Anything that combats the pussification of our society is A-okay with me. You're absolutely right. This entitlement. That was part of the reason I created Suck It Up. I got tired of the entitlement. You're not entitled to anything but breathe in the air and live, and the rest is up to you. And I tell you what, man, I love the attitude. I think that's how we all should be. I was raised in a tough love era with my father, God rest his soul, and love was a key word, but it was all about accountability, no quitting, no giving up, no bullshit excuses, no nothing. Just be a good person, try your best, give it your all every single time, and I think it's coming back. Guys like you, guys like us, people like us, they know that it's going to take a lot of that to get our society back on track, man, and it's good. I mean, at the end of the day, I love it because, you're either going to STFU and train or you're not, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely. And, that applies to not just jiu-jitsu. It's
everything.
Everything. I stay up till 2 o'clock sometimes writing stuff for jiu-jitsu, wake up early, and that's it. You got to do it. I was telling my I have a personal trainer, and we were talking yesterday, and he's like he's a big time religious guy, and I think that's cool. And I said, man, I'm not sure what's going to happen when we die. I'd love to think there's a heaven, but I said, if there's not, I tell you what, I'm going to make it happen here. I'm going to make it happen now. I'm going to give my best, and I'm going to make my life my earth heaven, and I'm going to do my best every day and represent myself every day to the fullest. And it's not to sound positive or motivational. It is what it is, and that nobody cares otherwise. Nobody's going to help me. Nobody's going to make me.
Right.
Nobody's going to do anything for me. I got to do it myself. And I think if more people took that mindset, a lot would get done.
Well, you're motivating people whether you want to or not, and that's a great thing. I mean, I think motivation, and I do a bunch of talks, man. I love motivating people. Just come on, you got to do it. We use a lot of the film doesn't lie in football. What you put on film is what you are as a player. Well, take it to life. If the camera on you, what would it show? What would it show? What kind of person you are? What kind of worker you are? What kind of character you have, and everything that goes along into it. So, man, I love it. It's great, and you are motivating. I love BJJ.com. Ken Primola is our guest, and I think that's fantastic. Ken, one thing Larry and I are very involved in here, and I'm actually going to be heading out to Salt Lake City for some talks, but anti-bullying is a big one for us. We, as well as you, I'm sure, no child should be bullied, no person should be bullied, and instead of attacking the bullies, although we want to heal them, let's get the ones that are being bullied to walk with a little spring in their step, get a little confidence going, because then we know they will not be bullied, because the bully never picks on the strong, only on the weak.
Absolutely. I think it's really important for everybody to try to have as much security as they can, and to be able to stand up to bullies. And I like to think it's also about the communication with the bully. And a lot of the times those bullies are being bullied on, or were bullied on, and they become the bully. And I don't think it's ever going to go away, but I definitely think kids need to be strong, confident, secure. They need to be willing to, if they have to tell the teachers, and their friends need to be able to come in and help them and understand it.
Yep.
And I'm not for getting hurting these bullies.
Right.
I'm for education and
Right.
trying to help them. Because I see bullies. I think they could do jiu-jitsu too. It could make them more confident. Just as the kids that are being bullied, and I think everybody at the end of the day can get along, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. If the teacher can't save you, it happens outside of the classroom.
Yep.
You got to know how to handle it. You got to be able to have the thick enough skin to move on from it, and not take it so personally, and try to understand both sides of it, so everybody at the end of the day can get along. I mean, the bully at one point is definitely going to get their butt kicked, and they're gonna recognize that they are that bully, and it's unfortunate that it has to take other people, for them to recognize it. But both of them, it's an issue for both. Where I think education, in the schools, which is definitely happening, stuff like you doing your tours and speeches is definitely going to help people understand it, because it's definitely a problem.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Ken, and one thing to add to that, you'd be surprised how many parents are bringing their kids in to train, not because they're being bullied, but because their kids are the bullies.
bully, right?
So it's
harness that energy.
Exactly. So I think it's a two-way street with jiu-jitsu or any sport, where the kids being bullied can walk taller, but also the kids, showing some discipline and some respect for others. I think it's a win-win. You're right. It's not going to go away, but the efforts of people like you and us, I think we can certainly go a long way in, like you say, educating the masses on, it is a problem. Let's deal with the problem, and it's not going to go away, but we can make it better. All we can do on this earth is do what we can do, and hopefully make it a better place when we do leave.
That's right.
Absolutely. It's about recognition, and it's about understanding it, and I think that would definitely help, and I absolutely agree with you guys and support that.
Ken Primola from ilovebjj.com. Check him out on his site, or if you're up in the Philly area, and get 4 DVDs for $9, and you go right on the website and get some great videos, all by Ken Primola.
Ken, are you in Philly or Delaware?
I'm in the Philly area, I consider myself, but I teach out of Wilmington, Delaware.
I got you.
Okay, good.
Very good.
They're all nearby each other somewhere, aren't they?
Yeah, my
Kinda.
team balance is in the Philadelphia area, and I've taught at a bunch of the schools in there, and I'm just a short distance away.
Well, see,
so.
Tom wants your address so he can come put the rubber guard on you.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You know what? Hey, anything can happen. So.
There you go. All right, Ken, thanks a lot for joining us here on MMA Live on the Suck It Up Radio Network, buddy. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Ken.
This has been a production of SuckItUpUSA.com and EIGProductions.com. Heard exclusively on the Suck It Up Radio Network.